Hey, Woody the Unexceptional Gamer, and this is Feedback Friday, weekly series, mostly, where you ask questions to me on Twitter. You can follow me at WoodysGamertag, and I reply. I got some feedback on the last one that I talked about my Minecraft server a lot, and to some extent, it's a big part of my life, so that's gonna happen. But also, I get that, it shouldn't be every question, so we'll try and find some sort of happy medium. In the corner here is a trailer I have, or that was made for my new game type prison. If that sort of thing interests you, then you can check it out. I'll put an annotation on it as soon as I can. If not, well then, we'll just get on with the video. Here we go! What's the secret to success for getting a good paying job at Cisco after getting a low GPA? I'm from the UK. A GPA, if you don't know, is bad grades. In the United States, they rank grades from 0 to 4, F to A. I don't know if you guys have that. And then they average them all together. And if you're a perfect student, you have a 4.0. If you're a crappy student, you have like a 2.5 or something. And I had a 1.98. I thought it was life-ruining at the time. And a 1.98 is really bad. You probably don't know anyone with a GPA that low. I got into college, I got accepted into college because I could swim quickly. I also, in America, we have these tests called the SATs. And I did so well on those, I could have gotten into some schools just based on my SAT scores alone. Because I'm not that stupid, but I got the grades of somebody who was. So, how do you do it? I don't know. I mean, the thing is, life is long. Like that, I've said this in videos before. If there's not too many mistakes that you can't recover from, right? Some emotional ones and some physical ones, like, certain injuries and stuff you can't recover from. But bad grades, that's totally recoverable. You can. It's hard though. So because if I had gotten good grades, I would have gone to a good school for 4 years, and then when I was 22, I would have gotten a good job. That's the easy way to do it. What I did instead is I got bad grades, and then I went to not the most prestigious school for 2 years, and then I transferred to a better school, but I went there at night, and I did that for 8 years maybe, and I got 2 degrees there. And then I went to another school at night and weekends, and I got my master's degree there. So it was I think it was 13 years total, but there was a gap year between my undergrad and my graduate degrees. And that's hard, right? I worked and went to school at night for 13 years. A lot of times during this, I had long commutes. I would drive 2 hours to work, an hour from work to school, and then 2 hours home. And then, don't forget, I'm actually attending school and I'm working full-time. At the same time, I have these 3-hour-a-day commutes. And it was only 3 hours a day, 3 days a week. It wasn't every day. But, how did I overcome bad grades? A huge amount of work. And to some extent, it shaped me to how I am today. I'm pretty productive all my waking hours. I just work and work all the time, and it feels weird to me to just lay around and not do anything. It's like a secret escape, a guilty pleasure to even see TV. Where I think a lot of people who never had that kind of workload for a decade to reprogram themselves find watching TV or playing games or something like that to be an expected entitlement that happens every single day. Whereas for me, it's a rare pleasure. So. It's not just bad grades, right? It can be a financial hole that you've dug for yourself. It can be bad grades. It can be, a career decision that you regret or a career choice that you want. All this stuff is correctable with hard work. Unless it's medical or emotional, you can fix it. You can totally fix it. But it takes a tremendous amount of work and dedication and drive in one direction to fix this sort of thing. And that's how I did it. Yeah, I had bad grades in high school, and it meant that instead of the next 4 years being easygoing and fun, the next 13 years were a death march of... I remember I would get in this happiness hole. It's it's not that I'm not well rested. I'm getting my 6 to 8 hours every day. It's that I'm not having anything else. I'm not having any joy in my life, and this is for a long time. I'd be like, man, my people around me would be like, oh, you must be tired. No, I'm not tired. I just wish that I had some slack time. Tired would mean I need like recovery time or something. What I need is work-life balance. And now I have that a little better. I do love that my work and life are kind of intertwined like this. I've got, like you see me before, got chairs all over. The family comes into the office and spends time with me. But, when I was at school or when I was at like an out-of-the-house job, that work-life balance was worse. It was terrible. So, how do you recover from any kind of life mistake? Dig down and do it. Make a plan and follow it. Too many people have dreams but not plans, and you got to do that conversion. You got to be like, all right, step one, and then just start. Just start. Do you want to go to college? Call them, write them, let them know your situation. You can't just hope for it. You have to do it. They probably will be like, oh yeah, here's what people do in your situation. This is an American thing. I don't know if this is global. But you can go to a community college for 2 years, get good grades, transfer to our school. And I promise you, as a guy who's probably hired 100 people in my years, nobody knows or cares where you went to your first 2 years of school. It's about where you graduated. If you got bad grades in high school, this is American, and go to community college before you go to Harvard, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. There are a lot of people with great grades out of high school who will go to a community college for the first couple of years because it's cheap, and then they graduate from their dream school. And so anyway, yeah, set a plan and then actually do it. Pick up the phone, write your letter, do your research, make your Google searches, do the sorts of things that it takes to get started on that plan. Just actually flip and do it, and then you'll be set. That's what I did. Sometime around high school, it's just stupid, but I was a swimmer and I was doing great at it and I loved it and I had a passion for it and I wasn't ready to stop, so I went to college so I could swim more. That's a lot of that is the truth to it. I also liked that it was getting the rest of my life on the right path, but a big part of the motivation was that I wanted to swim in college because I wasn't done being special at something. So yeah. That's how you get yourself on track. Just call, research, and get yourself going. Thorin's channel asks, thoughts on Wings of Redemption's Reddit activity? I've been really careful about the whole Wings thing. Until like yesterday, I've done like 0% of the fussing at him and shared equal blame with with the attacks that happened to him. And, that's to be expected, right? And I'm pretty sure that if I had said as much as Lefty or Kyle did, I would take all the blame, and I didn't want that. It seemed like equal blame was fair. But Wings went on Reddit and started attacking the people on the show again, saying a lot of stuff that wasn't true. And I made a reply as well. The core of it is he says like these guys that the PKA crew were never friends to him, that we never called him, we didn't share the money with him and things like that, and that frustrates me because it's a lie, and that's kind of why he's gone, because it was this constant backstabbing, this constant taking shots at him. Every time he fell into some sort of slump or got grumpy or whatever, he would lash out at all the people that were close to him. The truth is, like, if you follow Wings on Twitter, you know that sometimes he'll just go off about all his personal problems and put that on Twitter. And I would be the guy that texted him or called him and tried to sort of work it out. I was the guy that held his Twitter account to sort of back off on that a little bit. There's a reason. I'll tell you, the reason I didn't make Wings of Redemption's desk for him was because that at the time, he was giving search engine optimization tips to people that were attacking my son. My wife, Jackie, has not forgiven him for that. She hates Wings of Redemption. Jackie hates Wings, and much more so than me. She wishes bad things upon him because of what he supports the guys. When obviously Jesus he said that he was going to rape my daughter, rape my wife after he kicked my ass, and he called Colin retarded 100 times. And Wings donated money to that guy because he thought it would make him look good. Wings gave search engine optimization tips when people were attacking Colin. Like the list is long, man. Oh, remember Wings went on Keemstar's podcast and said that we never gave him any of the money from the show. Why would he say that? I have taken so much undeserved shit for stuff like that. And now if you follow him, he says he just lost a third of his income. Right. To say that we were never his friends is not fair. We would do so much for him. We tried to help him so often. Think about what happened when he lost the 1v1 and I was there by his side, helping him out. Something I teach my kids is like, look, when you're in a position where you can do something to help someone who's weaker than you, and I'm not calling Wings weak, I'm talking about what I say to my kids, then you're obligated to do that. Like if you're a ninth grader and you see a fifth grader picking on another one, you can stop that. And it's your obligation to do it. The caveat that I'm learning, is like, you need to make sure that guy's the right one to defend. Because, I felt like I would be good to him, and then that wasn't reciprocated again and again and again. So that's why Wings is... Everyone has their own reasons. For me, a lot of it had to do with how Wings was just disloyal a lot, and would say things that weren't true, that were negative about me, and that was my issue with Lefty. He didn't like it that every time Wings got into a funk, he would take shots at the people on the PKA crew. With Kyle, I think really a lot of it is that he skipped out on the trip. For me, missing the trip wasn't that big of a deal. I didn't think that Wings was going to be like the superhero that helped us all survive in the woods. To me, it was like, all right, we'll have to modify the trip somewhat to make sure that there's not a lot of climbing involved, no deep river crossings, and I was more than willing to do that. I thought there was a possibility, and I don't mean to be throwing stones at his survival capabilities, but I thought there was a possibility that he might take more than he gave, and I was willing to do that. I wanted Wings on the trip. A big part of it was for him. And when he said that he couldn't go on the trip, I didn't feel like I lost a lot. Kyle, on the other hand, did. Kyle felt like, not only did we lose by not having Wings, because Wings said he was going to be there, like Syndicate wanted to come, T-Mart wanted to come, Hex wanted to come, a lot of people wanted to come, and they would have come if we hadn't been expecting Wings to be there. So Kyle, he was more upset about the trip. I'm more upset over all the things over the last 5 years, and Lefty's more upset over just, how he lashes out at the people around him. On Reddit, Wings started like doing his thing again, right? Saying about how he was wronged and how, Dr. Chiz's fault for getting him kicked off the show and stuff like that. And it's like, no, man, I'm sorry. It's you. It's the stuff that you've been doing that, that's getting you kicked off the show. And that's it. In some ways, the show's it's missing an X factor. In like Wings saying the wildest stuff like burn the truck and I'm down cow and things like that. No one's quite as silly as Wings in his absence. In other ways, though, stuff is getting done. Like the survival trip is actually happening. PKAs, which we've been talking about for a long time, is actually happening. We have a PKA adventure thing that's spawning up where Kyle and I are going to go in helicopters and shoot hogs from the sky in Texas. Apparently hogs are this pest there that cause all sorts of problems. And you're allowed to fly around in helicopters and kill hogs. Some of you won't like that, but to some people, this is a freaking dream thing. And then there's another survival trip in the fall. Like PKA is doing so much more than it ever did before, partly because we were held back. Partly because we were held back, and now we're not. On the other hand, I get that it misses a silliness factor. So you might like it more, you might like it less. But here we are. I wouldn't ask you to keep someone in your life who smashed you in social media, who constantly ripped you on, this isn't what Wings did necessarily, but like if your friends were tearing you apart on Facebook all the time, then you should probably get that friend out of your life, and that's where I was too. So will Wings ever come back? It's funny. I'm only one guy. For me, I always thought the answer was yes. I always thought if Wings turns things around and starts behaving like the sort of person you do want in your life, then he comes back. Lefty said that he'll never work with Wings again, and that if we were to ever bring him back, he would leave. I can't speak for Kyle. I don't know. I'd just be guessing, and then opinions change over time, and the videos don't. So I won't speak for Kyle. But yeah, I want the best for Wings. I really do. But I can't have him in my life anymore because he's been so terrible to me and my family, and has done nothing to ever make up for it. I mean, people make mistakes, but this is a guy who talks without thinking and has a policy of never apologizing. And when you combine that, you get a guy that just takes and takes and never gives. And yeah, I mean, aside from the very beginning, when the truth is, and this is from Wings, not from me, that he first started doing dual comms with people, Crunk Skunk, me, Kyle, etc., because he was running out of topic ideas, and they were like free videos. Now, it helped me a lot, and I'm still thankful for it, but, let's keep it in perspective. It wasn't an act of charity. He was short on topics, so he had me on the channel. I don't know. Wings, if you watch this, I really do want you to succeed in life, and you really do need professional help to sort of get yourself in a happier place, because going deeper and deeper into your funk, you call it cabin fever, but it's more than just cabin fever. It is really difficult to be happy, and I know this as well as you do, when you have 10, 50, 100,000 people a day trying to prevent you from being happy. And either you get some help so that you can deal with this and compartmentalize the hate and push it to the side, or you reorganize your life so that you don't get this kind of hate anymore. Because what you have now, it's not working for you, man. You're spiraling down, and you need to be on your way up. That's where it is. But for my participation, I mean, I feel like I'm the lifeguard, and you've been trying to pull me under for 5 years, and after a while, the debt's paid. What was the driving force from moving from YouTube full-time to WoodyCraft? I'm going to try and answer this in a way that doesn't make it a WoodyCraft advertisement, so bear with me. You guys got me jumpy about that. Don't know why. I have every right to. It should be part of the deal. But the reason that I do WoodyCraft so much, a lot of it has to do with this feedback loop that successful projects give you. The reason I did YouTube so enthusiastically, was because it was growing so big, and everybody liked the videos that I made, and it made me feel good about me. And then I was helping people, and it cycled into this amazing, wonderful thing. And then you go back, I don't know, 12 months or so, and suddenly all these other YouTubers were attacking me, and then their subscribers were, and that amazing feedback loop that success brings you, it wasn't there. I don't know if you've ever have you ever started a sports team, and then 2 weeks in or 2 months in, you're getting feedback. Maybe you're an above average player after only 2 months, or maybe you're just above average compared to the other noobs at that sport. And it's yeah, this is awesome. I've found something that I'm good at. That feels good. It feels amazing. And that's why I did YouTube like I did. That's why I do WoodyCraft like I did, because it's the fucking best server in the multiverse, according to my mom. Why did I switch from YouTube to there? Because that feedback loop that success gives you, that makes you feel good about yourself, it existed more strongly in WoodyCraft than it did on YouTube. That's why. I hope that everyone watching this experiences it too. There are some people who probably studied and got good grades, and then suddenly their parents and their peers and their teachers and their extended family is telling them that they're smart, and it makes them want to study more, and it makes them want to get more good grades, and everyone's saying you're going to be successful. And that loop, just, you do a thing, you get rewarded for that thing, it makes you feel good, and it makes you keep doing it. There's probably someone watching this who's done that professionally at work, where like they crushed it and saved the company, and then they got rewarded for it, hopefully financially, but also with appreciation, and it makes them want to continue being the best guy at that job. Maybe there's someone who's done it in sports and who's been motivated to just cycle, like, yeah, you work hard in practice, and then you kick butt at game, and then you work harder in practice, and then you kick butt in the game again, and that thing just spirals up into this success loop that makes you amazing at a thing. That's why I do WoodyCraft. That's why I do YouTube, because that feedback loop that makes you successful is a cool ride, and yeah, that's the truth behind it. Financially, is it successful? Yeah. So's YouTube. I I made more money per year after Cisco than I did Edit. But yeah, it's not just about money. It's also about that feedback loop that makes you feel like you belong somewhere, like you found a niche for yourself. And I'm always careful about discussing employees, but like Dr. Chiz, he works at WoodyCraft, and I didn't know it when he first started, but he's really smart. Like he's like gifted smart, and because of that, he's learning stuff, like learning sysadmin skills, learning coding skills, learning Minecraft things, learning gameplay things. He's an excellent project manager who like keeps on top of a lot of, like, he can juggle a lot of balls at one time. And I hope that he's going through a similar kind of like, like I'm really good at something. I'm having some success, and I know that like wherever he works after WoodyCraft is going to be lucky to have him, in part because of who he was just born to be, but also in part because of the experiences that he's gathered here. So that feedback loop, that's the train you need to get on. I think about, circling back to Wings of Redemption. That's the train he's not on, right? He does a thing, people fuss at him for it. He does a thing, people fuss at him for it. And then his reaction is the wrong one, which is to grab everybody else and pull them down. He needs to make some sort of change so that he does a thing and it makes him want to do it more. You do a thing and it lifts you and makes you aspire for further greatness at whatever it is that you're targeting. So yeah, that's I hope that this somehow applies to you. Like you're watching this and you're like, you know what? My thing is fencing, or my thing is parkour, or my thing is school, or my thing is, who knows what. But this is an area that makes me feel good about me, and I like that, and I'm going to crush it. I know. Maybe it's music. I wish I was good at music. I've tried so hard. I suck. I'm like musically handicapped. But yeah. So that's why I do WoodyCraft, because that success loop makes me thirst for as much of it as I can drink. For those that miss Painkiller Already, how's the house hunting coming along? So I've been talking about getting a new home for about a year now, maybe more than that, and we haven't done anything. And for me, that, like, the thing that, let's talk about money. Why I like money is it gives me, what I like is financial independence. That's what I highly value. When I have enough money that I know that, nothing can hurt me, that's good. I'm not buying extravagant homes or cars or clothing or knickknacks or I haven't gone out and made it rain anywhere. Because what I really value from cash is that, if something goes wrong, if a dishwasher breaks, if I twist a knee or something, then I'm going to be okay. Like, I have enough cash to get past life's problems, the ones that money can solve anyway. That's what I want from money. And Jackie wants a new home, and I keep thinking, like, how will that really make me happier, which is the goal, right? How will a new home do anything for me? And then she showed me one. We haven't looked at it in person yet, but it had a guest house. And she said, she's like, I don't think this way, right? She said, I think that Colin's going to go to college and maybe become a computer programmer and live a happy life. College is university. That's what they call it in America. And she's like, but I know that you worry about his ability to support himself in adulthood. If we bought a house with a guest home or a pool house or something like that, then into adulthood he could move sort of out of the house into a place of his own, yet still get the support that he needs from us. And suddenly, like, taking a step backwards in financial independence seemed okay. It was like, so what I'm buying here is a safety net for Colin. And that would be something I'd be willing to pay for, right? Like, you think about a guy in Colin's situation where it's difficult for him to communicate with people outside the family. If it comes to it, it's not a bad life given the hand that he was dealt. If he could live in like a guest house or a pool house behind our home, have all the support and love and attention, yet still have the independence, then that might be a win. So there we are. I want to move slowly on this sort of thing. One, he doesn't need a guest home this year. He's 11 years old. And two, I think at the end of this year, Google Fiber is going to announce where they're rolling out. And, that to me is a big consideration. For me, internet connection is right there with electricity and water in terms of importance. So there's no reason to speed through this thing. But yeah, I used to say to Jackie, like, man, if you're going to get a thing, I'd really like it to have water. If it were backed up against water, like, no one comes at you from the water, not burglar thing, but like, there'll never be noise from there. There'll never be privacy invasions from the lakeside. And all you need is a little bit of property in a lake, and you've got, like, effectively all the privacy that you're looking for. I've kind of taken away that. And, like, I think what I really want is not a lakefront property, but a property that has a future for Colin in case he needs it. But I think the trick to this thing is to move slowly. There's a lot more to gain than to lose by taking our time. That's how the house hunt's going. History in 1 minute says, discuss your embarrassing defeat to Kyle. What went wrong? Yeah, that stunk. I'll talk about it. So the Painkiller Already crew is doing a new thing called Painkiller Already Plays. You guys may have seen the Left 4 Dead videos from like 2 weeks ago. And Lefty and Kyle uploaded some Civilizations videos recently. I don't know if Chiz did too, but anyway, we're doing new stuff. I'll talk about the game for a little bit, so get comfortable. Civilizations, there's two ways to play it. I've just learned this recently, and I've sort of categorized myself. You can play tall, which is to have one or two really great cities, or you can play wide, which is to have a bunch of cities, but focus on them, a little less and spread it out. I'm a wide player. That's how I like it. I love it when I get deeper into the game, like the 1800s, 1900s, when I'm cranking out bombers from a city every turn. I feel like once I get 5 or 6 great cities really cranking, it's hard to compete. And when you have roadways to get the troops to everywhere, it's fantastic. What Kyle did was kind of like a kamikaze mission. He went straight at me right out of the gate. And I'm wide, but not very deep. And he was able to just sort of roll through my cities at the very beginning of the game. And part of me is like, that's a crappy strategy. I don't like it when people play that way. But it was rough. Basically, it was a kamikaze strategy. So he took me out early in the game, but he put himself in the happiness hole. Happiness is a thing that you need in Civ 5. It's new to Civ 5. And he put himself in an economic hole. Like, I was rich. I had a great economy in my world. I was just, I was getting things going, but I wasn't ready to defend myself. Too much butter, not enough guns, and I got knocked out. In the game before that, I was the strongest in the game. At the start, I don't know how many moves we got in, like 80 moves or something. 80 turns. But yeah, Kyle took me out early, and I was somewhat grumpy about the whole thing. And Kyle ended up taking himself out because the people who weren't at war, Chiz and Lefty, were able to just sort of easily wreck Kyle because he was in a happiness hole, he was in an economic hole. Going to war with me was a bad long-term move, but he did take me out. So of the four of us, I got 4th place, he got 3rd, and then, I won't say any more because I'm not sure that all the videos are uploaded. But that's what happened. In the game before that, I was far and away the best civilization. But something happened with the save, and it got lost. But I don't know what the next game is. I think we're talking about Payday as the next game, and after that, who knows? But I'm happy about PKA plays. For the most part, it's a really good time, and it's a fun deal. So PKA plays. Check it out. More content coming. How does your family react to haters? They mostly don't know. Colin is just blissfully unaware of any of the fussing that he might get online. And by and large, Colin is loved. I'm really fond of him. Like, I love the guy. But sometimes I'm like, wow, you're like an online superstar. People really, really like him. Probably because he's always nice. He's 100% pure nice to everybody. And that makes him really popular. Hope doesn't get hated on very much. A lot of people want to date her. There was one time we did a Harlem Shake video, and it like impacted her at school, and I think other kids were doing the Harlem Shake and stuff. And we helped her with that, and we kind of told her to own it. And she brought it. We got her like a Harlem Shake T-shirt, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm popular on YouTube. Deal with it." And that was that. If there's anyone who deals with the hate the worst, it's probably Jackie. Jackie, she she remembers who did it and doesn't let it go and just like writes them off for life. Every so often, I shouldn't ever show it to her because it's always my fault. But I'll like this is what I'm dealing with, or this guy just said this about our kids, and it bugs her, and she gets mad. And in Painkiller Already, I joke about having a list of people that I wish death upon. I bet she has one too. I bet if it came down to it and you were like, hey, no repercussions, would you like this guy dead? She'd be like, yep. Earth is going to make a slight upgrade without this guy in it. And, but yeah, so Jackie doesn't like, the people. She mostly doesn't like attacks. It's not someone who hates or whatever. It's people who attack the family. She doesn't like that. Colin doesn't know, and Hope doesn't get it very much, but the time she does, stand tall, keep your chin up, and own it. That's what we do.